Hello, how are you doing today? Welcome to your small business podcast.
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks for
That
having me.
that is great. That is great. So I want you first to just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Ani. I'm a product business coach, and what I do is I help product business owners really just start and grow their product businesses using mainly focusing on manufacturing, marketing, and also I incorporate a little bit of manifestation because energy is really what really brings it all together. When you have that energetics just combined with all the strategy, that's when sales just come right through.
That's awesome. That's great. And I think manifestation is getting really big now. I see it like everywhere. It
Yeah.
is. So I'm going to give you the icebreaker question. I love to do that. If you had a genie in a bottle and had three wishes, what would they be?
The first wish is definitely for everything to be peaceful. I mean, I'm an advocate of peace,
Yes.
especially inner peace. Anyone who seeks inner peace should have inner peace, and it should be easy. Oftentimes, that process isn't easy, where you have to go
Yeah.
through a couple of turmoils, but that's okay. That's the process. So the first one is definitely inner peace. The second one is. Oh my goodness, I hate to do this, but can I have more wishes?
Yeah, that's,
For more
that's always
wishes.
a good one. I don't know why people don't say that anyway. Yeah, definitely. That will count.
It's a cheap out. Okay, that's true. And the third one is always to have wishes in my back pocket, like to pull it out whenever I need it.
I like that. That's great. No one ever says that. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you can't think of everything on the spot, but like when you have it in your back pocket and just pull it out.
Yeah, you can have more. You can have more than three. It's like, yeah. It's
That's true.
okay. I get it. I get it. So we're going to talk about, like money coaching, manifestation. So how would you define that? Because there's a lot of people out there that says they're a money coach, but yeah, how do you define it? What's your rule on that?
Yeah. So when it comes to money coaching, it's all about the energy. Money is energy as much as anyone who says no, it is energy, right? And money is a tool. A lot of people put like this, it's either good or evil, but money isn't either one. Money is just an energy. It's a tool. It is how you use it, and that's what defines you as a person. But a lot of people
Mm,
attach things to money in a way that really affects them. So when people are, as they're growing up, because it's two big things, right? One is love and one is money.
mm-hmm,
And the way they grow up really just affects them as a person. So what money coaching does, what most money coaches do, is that we really just dive deeper into what the limiting beliefs are, from when they're growing up, what's going on, what do they believe in
mm-hmm.
that's really blocking them from getting to where they want to be. And also just simply like removing those blocks so that they can start being in that flow of abundance so you can have those sales. And then when you pair up a strategy, that's when things just magnify because now you're in the flow, things are happening, and everything just works. So when it comes to money, it's all about just rising up to that energy and being in that state where it just comes to you. Like there's no good, there's no evil. It's just money's money. It just happens.
Yeah, yeah. That's an awesome, like a little niche with coaching. Because I think a lot of people don't realize that they have, we all talk about the limiting beliefs you have on yourself, like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. But then
Hmm.
to say, some people have money limiting beliefs that's
Hmm.
keeping them from making money. It's like a whole nother thing out there
Yeah,
that
it
people
goes
don't
really,
realize.
really deep. Exactly. It goes super deep. And especially what I've noticed is that us women, we don't want to come off as too salesy. So we have a lot
Yeah.
of money blocks where like instead of pitching ourselves, we're just kind of like, no, I can't do that. I'm not
Yeah.
worth it. I'm not good enough to pitch. But it's kind of like, wait a minute. But if a man does it, like they just go ahead and start pitching them. So it's
Yeah.
it's things like that where it's like, but where did I come from? Like what's going on there, right?
I have seen people that, and I have seen people say, they don't want to, especially a lot of women, they don't want to advertise, they don't want to come off
Mhm.
salesy, they don't want to ask for the sale. But now realizing that it's something deeper than that
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
them think that way. That's
it's true.
interesting. So, what are some of the most common limiting beliefs that people do have about money?
Yeah, so it's usually money's evil, which is
Mm.
always strange to me when people are like, yeah, money's evil. And just to bust that one, money is
Yeah.
not evil. It's some people don't do great things with money. It doesn't mean money is evil. It just means that person is evil. So it's kind of
Right.
like taking that out. And instead of saying money as a whole is evil, it's just whoever has the money. So if you are a business owner and you want to use that money to, donate to charity, to impact the world, to grow your
Mhm.
business so that you can continuously impact, that's different, right?
Yeah.
That's different than saying money is evil, because money is not evil. It's just how you use it. So
Mhm.
that's a big one there too. And everything always somehow boils down to, I don't deserve money, or like I'm
Mhm.
not worthy of money, or I'm not good enough for money. But it's kind of like, where did that come from, right? And it's usually
Wow.
some kind of misbelief within themselves. So yeah, it's like a whole thing. But then
That's
when
so
you really boil
interesting.
down to it, it's always I'm not good enough.
Mm.
So, or I'm not good enough for X, Y, and Z.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. So, how can manifesting money kind of counteract those beliefs? Can it help
Yes.
erase those beliefs? How does that work?
Yeah. So manifestation, the simplest way to put it is, it's basically visualizing yourself. And well, that's one technique, but it's really just being aligned with the energy that you want to have,
Mm.
or the reality that you want to have, and before it actually happens, and believing that you can have it before it happens. So a lot of people get this misconception with manifestation, where it's kind of like, I visualize money in my hand and money just magically gonna pop into my hand. No, you got to do the
Right.
steps to do that also.
That would be nice if it worked that way.
That's what the genie is for, right?
Yeah.
But not necessarily that. So when it comes to manifestation, what it really does is that it goes deeper within. It's like it brings up a lot of those limiting beliefs. Like, okay, well, now I see it. Now I'm aware of it. Now I know this is the limiting belief that I have, and now it's time to shift it. So manifestation helps you shift that in a way where you're no longer going, I'm not worthy of this. Now you're like, I believe I can have this,
Mm.
because even though my reality doesn't tell me I can do it, I just believe it. So when you're coming from that place of, I know I can have it, regardless of, what it looks like on the outside, that's when real change starts to happen. So manifestation is all about going from your internal world to, just like working on your internal world first before you can see it in your external world, and then you'll start seeing it in your external world. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So what about, I guess I kind of feel like, because manifestation and law of attraction, is that kind of the same thing? Because does that work hand in hand, or is that something separate with the whole law of attraction uh, thought?
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing, really. Law of attraction is just basically kind of like the principle. It's the overall concept of what we talked about is,
Hmm.
right? Law of attraction, in simply put, it's just like attracts like. Like if you think one thought, more of that thought is going to come in.
Okay.
Um, and same thing with energy. You feel that way, more of that energy will feel in, right? Manifestation is the process of basically bringing something that's non-physical to physical. So it's the process
Mm.
of using the law of attraction to make it happen in your life. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same thing. It's hand in hand, right?
Yeah, it's hand in hand, but there is some differences, I
Yeah.
guess. But it sounds like you need both.
You do need both.
You get
Yeah.
to do both. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is one easy manifestation technique that can assist with people being more, maybe like open to more opportunities about making money? Because I believe I had interviewed somebody, can't remember who it was, sorry, but they were talking about that whole thing, like you're not even open to have more opportunities to make money, like you're holding yourself back. So, what's just the easy manifestation, technique that can assist with that thought of just being
Yeah.
more open?
Yeah, so one of my favorite ones is scripting. So scripting is a very powerful technique, and we've been doing it since forever, since we've been in school. Really, it's
Hmm.
all about it's kind of like creative writing. I always like to say, where you write a story of yourself, right? And creative writing English classes are always like, write a story about X, Y, and Z. But
Yeah.
instead, you're writing a story about yourself. You're writing a story about you getting whatever you've already wanted, right? So let's
Okay.
say you have a business owner who wants to bring in $10,000 sales, right? So come from a place, you're just going to write it down like a story of you already having that $10,000 already brought in. So what does that look like? What does that feel like? How is that, how does that play out? So you just writing all of that, and it can be like paragraphs or however much like you feel, you're getting into the flow of money. So you're feeling
Mm.
like, okay, I can definitely have this. And that's how you're attracting that opportunity, because you're aligning with that state of already having that. And then all you have to do is open your eyes and your mind to
Hmm.
whatever comes through, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a huge thing where a lot of people are just like, I'm scripting and then that's it. Things are just going to happen for me. No, you got to keep your mind open to the opportunity that does happen, and then you follow that.
Yeah, I think that's a huge misjudgment on some people when it comes to manifestation. They think that they can just say it or even write it, but then that's it. They just sit there and it just falls in your lap. But you still got to have some kind of action with that. You got to be doing something to bring it to you. I mean, just writing it down and putting your pencil down and just sitting there waiting, it never works that way.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
got to have some kind of action. Okay. Um, there's one thing, there's another like limiting belief too that people have, like the whole they don't think that they can do something, they're
Hmm.
afraid of actually being successful.
Hmm.
Um and is there a way that there's a manifestation technique for that? Because I've noticed as I've interviewed people that there's a lot of people with that limiting belief, and it
Yeah.
actually amazed me because I'm thinking, how can you be afraid of being successful? That's what we're all trying to do, and to be afraid of it, I didn't understand it at first until I had someone I interviewed and they explained it, and I thought, okay, now it's making sense. But is there like a mantra or anything easy that someone could do if they wanted to start today to
Yeah.
actually fix that?
Yeah. So fear of success. That's
Mm-hmm.
a big one. Especially yeah, I know like a couple of business owners also, like clients who also like had to deal with that. And it's kind of like, that's interesting, because you're building a business because a part of you believe that you can have this. This is what you want.
Right.
But this is the block that's coming across, that's not getting you to where you want to go, and which is the fear of success, right? So it's always like, number one, you want to go into like, what's going on here, right? You really
Mm-hmm.
examine the limiting belief. So this is more of a coaching technique and less manifestation, but then I'll give like an affirmation for that
Okay.
in a little bit. Yeah. So it's more just like you want to go in and really examine, like, where did this belief come from? Like, why is it there in the first place, right? And this can be
Mm-hmm.
anything. It could be that, at age 7, one of their parents was just like, no, you can't be successful unless you work really hard, or that if you're successful, then you can't have this or this or this or this or something, right? That, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's really just digging deep into what is that belief, what is coming from, what's going on, and then really shifting that, reframing that to what they want instead. So let's say, okay, they have a fear of success because they don't believe that they can have X, Y, and Z, right? Now they just have to reframe it to, okay, I can have this because I do deserve this now. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
just working through that. So a really good like affirmation, because words are powerful. You always want to
Yes.
repeat
Yes,
whatever
they
you want
are.
to yourself. Yeah. And so it's always that success is inevitable. I got this from someone else, but I love it
Mm-hmm.
because it
Yeah.
works, right? It's just like success is going to happen for you no matter what. There's nothing to be afraid of. If
Yeah.
this is the journey that you choose, if you feel aligned and if you feel called to do it, it's going to happen. Success
Right.
is inevitable. So
That
that's
is a
my
good
favorite
one.
one. Yeah.
Yes, that is a good one. And it's, I guess, it's something you can use it as a mantra, say it every morning when you get up or every night before you go to bed. I realize that works too. Like when you're sleeping to do that, have
Yeah.
affirmations to say, or, downloading one of those, there's some apps that have that. Well, so while you're sleeping, they're saying that and a
Yeah.
whole bunch of other stuff. But
Yeah.
it really helps. I don't know. Yeah, it really helps though.
It does. It's even better when you do it throughout the day, because night and morning is powerful. Like that's the best
Mhm.
time because you're just waking up. You know, you feel like a little foggy, and you're like, okay. But the best time to do it is whenever it comes up. The moment it comes up where you're like, oh, I don't deserve this, you'll be like, no, 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 wait. Success is gonna happen. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen regardless. I like to say this too. The only way for you to fail is if you quit.
Yes,
That's the only way you fail.
that is a good one. Because if you
Yeah.
keep going, you did not fail at
Exactly.
all. Yes.
Eventually, your business is going to be successful. It's always depending on you, right? The more you work at it, because think about it, every year you're building your business, you get better and better and better and better. More
Yeah.
people know you, more things happen. But
Exactly.
it really depends on what you focus on. But if you focus on the fact that, oh, like no one's listening to me, or no one's doing it, or like I'm not making money, then that's what you're going to get, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And then you quit.
and then
You
you quit.
basically talk yourself right on out of it.
Yeah, and then tomorrow you could have blown up. So,
Yeah. And that's what everyone's, and then what is that saying that some people I've seen like on Pinterest and stuff, just when you're probably about to have that breakthrough
mhm.
is right before you want to quit. So
Yeah.
most people quit not realizing that the next day or maybe even a couple weeks from then they would have just blew up, but they quit.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Exactly. You got to push through the chaos, and then you know you're going to get your breakthrough. So you really just keep going.
Yeah, but consistency. I know probably people get tired of hearing about gotta be consistent. You gotta be consistent. But that is really where it's at. Is
Hmm.
consistency. Because if you keep going, eventually, your audience will grow and all that good stuff. But you just gotta keep going.
Absolutely. And it's always just about like going into the routine of it, right? Because you want to make your business, like, especially if you're a full time entrepreneur, like something like what you do when you brush your teeth, right? You wake
Yeah,
up, you brush your teeth. Like you wake up, you create content. Like that's just what you want to do.
exactly. Make your lives, do all of that, and keep that set schedule, and then do it consistently. It's not
Yeah,
one
because
key.
exactly. The more you think about it and the more you analyze it, the more it's like, oh man, like this isn't happening. But the more you're just like, I'm just gonna do it because it's just gonna happen anyway.
Yeah.
That's different. Now you have an energetic shift.
Exactly. And that's what most people need, that energetic shift. So, are there any like characteristics of someone that can actually manifest more than others? Because you have some
Um,
people, let me see. Yeah, I think that's just my question. Okay.
no,
Because
that's a
you
good
have some
question.
people that can. You might have some that start and they have just a little bit, but then you have like those. You got some of people who say like, "I manifested my whole business
Hmm.
and I made $1 million," and some people's like, "Well, I manifested a blog post."
Which is also
Yeah,
good.
which is
Nothing
good,
wrong with that.
but is there characteristics of people who actually can manifest more and it works?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. For the most part, you're the person that's really getting in your own way. And when it comes to manifesting, when you kind of remove that, there's a limitless possibility. So there's
Hmm.
about like there's so much, but I'm gonna give like three examples. So
Okay.
anyone who's really open-minded, they tend to manifest a lot quicker just
Hmm.
because you're in that state of, well, I'm not attached to something that's going to happen. Because if you're dead set on $10,000 for the next month, but the universe is like, but I have $11,000 for you.
Ah,
You're not letting me give you $11,000. You're just
yeah.
so set on $10,000. That kind of blocks it too.
Mm.
Right. And then the second thing is really just detach. Anyone who's really detached from whatever's going to happen, it's the same thing. Whereas, like, if you're so set on one thing happening one way, then it might not happen that way, or the universe is going to give you something better. But you're
Mm.
so set on your business being successful this way that you don't see that it can also be successful in a new way, a way that's, completely different from anyone else. So it's
Yeah.
always like open-minded, being detached. And the other thing is always just that positive emotion, that positive
Yeah.
joy, optimism, right? When you have that optimism, anything can happen. It's different when you're like,
Exactly.
oh, like down in the dumps, like, oh, it's not going to happen. You're blocking yourself. That's really just self-sabotaging. But
Yes, it is.
when you're positive and optimistic, anything can happen because now you're allowing things to happen. Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are the three big ones that I would like to say as characteristics.
Yeah, yeah, that is great. Because that, like you said, I think if you're depressed or down in the dumps, you probably will miss opportunities because you're not seeing
Mm-hmm.
them. You're not being receptive to them at all because you are just feeling so down. You're like, woe is me and all that. You're not seeing it. But if you are more positive and more open, you will see those opportunities, grasp them, and, you know, hit to the sky. But that does
Exactly.
make sense. Okay, because I was wondering about that. I was like, I bet there are some people that can do a whole lot more with it. Because it's different for everybody, that whole manifestation process.
Which is interesting. It's actually the exact same thing. You're always
Hmm.
manifesting. It just depending on you, which
Yep,
is so powerful. It's like you can literally have anything you want if you get out of your own way.
exactly, exactly. So, what are some money affirmations we can use in our everyday life? Because I know a lot of people, you know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm only one of them. I actually pray about money too. Like
Mhm.
pray that, hey, by the end of the year, I make X amount and all of that, and I pray about it and manifestation practices and all that good stuff. So, what are some good money affirmations that people can use in their everyday life?
Yeah, so I love prayer. Prayer is such a powerful technique too. Believe it or not, it is actually a manifestation technique also because you're
Oh,
reaffirming while you're, praying, right? So you're reaffirming that
yeah,
to yourself. So some of my favorite ones, if especially anyone who's in the coaching industry and they're listening, is people love to pay me,
hmm,
or sales come to me easily and effortlessly. My favorite one so far is I don't chase, I attract. Anything that
yeah,
belongs to me will come easily. Um, and always like reaffirming that, like money comes to me easily and effortlessly. That's always my favorite one. Whenever like you're stuck or you feel like you don't know like where to go, it's always just money comes to me easily. There's nothing to worry about. Um, how it's gonna happen? It's not my responsibility. It's just gonna happen. So things like that, like the money's already here. It's already here. It's done.
that's a great way because, and then when you say that too, it's like you're not worrying about it. You're not
Hmm.
stressing about it. It's like it's going to happen. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and it's going to come to me. And it's going to
Hmm.
come to me easy. And, because being a small business owner, entrepreneur, it is so stressful. And just doing those affirmations can relieve a lot of stress off of you. Because when you hear
Yeah.
yourself say it out loud, it does make a difference.
Yeah, like it changes everything because now instead of like stressing about like where your next client or where your next like product sales is coming from, now you're like, you know what? Like I suddenly feel like it's easy. And then when you feel like it's easy, you might get that inspiration. Maybe you want to post something on TikTok and that video blows up. And then the next thing you know, like you're like, whoa, like it does come to me
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, I think that confidence boost too, that really helps because you get that
Yeah.
confidence boost and then you're like, okay, well, let me make 5 blog posts, make all these TikToks, and it keeps you going. It's that energy that
Yeah.
you need.
Yeah,
Okay.
confidence is another characteristic. It's so important, in fact, to the point where you might want to be arrogant about it. Like,
It would help. It really would. Because when you think about it, if you have that thought, like, I already got this, I mean, this is
mm-hmm,
a shoe in, and that
mm-hmm,
is a little, I guess you could say it might be a little arrogance, but arrogance can get you a long way when it comes to being an entrepreneur.
yeah.
You actually need it.
You need it, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because people think it's a bad thing, but it's not. It's just saying like, you know what, it's gonna work out. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying like, oh, I'm gonna have this. It's fine. Like everything's gonna
Yeah.
be okay.
There's nothing bad about it, especially if you're working towards it.
Hmm.
There's nothing bad with going ahead and giving yourself that confidence and pumping yourself up to keep on doing what you're doing to keep your business going. Nothing
Exactly.
wrong
You're
with
your
it
own
at
hype
all.
man. Yeah, you're your own hype
Exactly.
woman.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you too because you mentioned prayer, which I know this is
Hmm.
not in the list of questions, but it just hit me. Is that I have heard, I'm in this manifestation group on
Hmm.
Facebook, and they always have these debates on
Yeah.
manifestation and prayer. Because, some
Hmm.
people are like, well, you shouldn't do that. You should just be praying to God. And then I was thinking, well, isn't that what I'm doing? Like you said, like I'm already praying for this. And it is the way I'm saying it sounds like a manifestation, but I am
Hmm.
praying to God. So it's like the same thing.
Yeah, like I've always seen prayer as a manifestation technique, right?
Yeah.
Because in a way, it's kind of like that, where you're kind of you're no longer stressing about it. You're like, you know what, God, whatever happens, happens, right? Like
Yeah.
I fully trust you, and it's kind of the same thing with manifestation, except you replace the word God with like universe or something, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
like handing it off to the manager, like here you go. Like it's no longer my worry. It's
Yeah.
this is just what I want, and this is what I want to tell you, and this is how I want to see things. But whatever happens, happens, kind of thing. So that's what I've always seen prayer. It's not. I feel like some people just see manifestation as this like cut-create box, like it has to
Yeah.
be a certain way, but it doesn't. Everyone is different.
Yeah.
Anything that works for you is going to work for you. So if prayer has been working for you, then yeah, continue doing it, right? It doesn't have to be
Exactly.
like everyone has to visualize or everyone has to do X, Y, and Z. Not at all. What's working for you is going to continue working for you. It's going to work for you your whole life, right? So
Yeah.
everyone's different. So I've always seen it that way.
That's the way I've seen it because I've read a few books on manifestation. And from what I've seen, like, if a lot of them have that universe in there, thank the universe or tell the universe what you want. So I could usually replace that with God and
Yes,
just
it's
keep
the
it
same
going
thing.
and
Yeah.
use the same words and everything, but just say God in its place. And there you go.
Exactly. It is a spirituality, right? It's a
It is.
spiritual, yeah, it's like, in a sense, it's like you're believing that there's a higher power. So if your belief is, I believe in God, then you replace the word with God. That's it.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
whatever you feel aligned to. Some people say
Yeah.
higher power, some people say inner being, some people say universe, right? It's whatever you
Mhm.
feel aligned to.
Exactly. So, yeah, because in that group, which is weird, to have somebody in a manifestation group talking about why we shouldn't manifest, they're in the wrong group. But, but just to say that, because like I said, at least maybe every couple of weeks they have that debate, and it's because
Interesting.
some people are saying like you don't believe in God if you do this. I'm like, no, that's not right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Anyone who's like super religious, they might have this idea of what religion should be,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's like, but why? It's
Yeah,
different for everyone.
it
So
is.
it's like if I believe in this, then it should be that way. But
Yeah.
it goes hand in hand. Spirituality, religion, like there's certain aspects of it that's very similar.
Definitely, definitely so. Just want to talk quickly too about um with manifestation because me and my husband we talk about it a lot, and I was telling him I said my philosophy is that manifestation is really just a way for you to believe in yourself,
Hmm.
and then once you believe in yourself and you believe you can do this or that, then your actions will start to be that way or go where you want to go because you believe that you can do this. And really, when you sum it up, that's what it is. And so,
Basically, yeah.
yeah, because we've like I said, we've had our little debates about it and stuff, and it's like he's like, well, you can't just manifest and sit there. Like, no, you can't. But
Hmm.
your actions have to align with what you're manifesting. Because, like I
Yeah.
said earlier, some people do believe, well, I'll just sit here and say it, and it'll just come up. Like, no, you have to put some action behind that.
Hmm.
And because if you don't, you're just going to be sitting there and saying manifestations in the air. 3 years from now, nothing happens. It doesn't work that way.
Sadly, that's why most people say manifestation doesn't work.
Exactly, because they're not putting that action behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I figured, as I read some books and thought about it, I was like, I think that really is what it is. It's just a way for you to believe in yourself, which is great because you have so many people out there who will tell you negative things and get put
Hmm.
stuff all in your head. And if this is a way to, build your confidence and go after the life of that you want, the life of your dreams, why not?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
A big part of it is believing in yourself. right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of people get attracted to manifestation, because it's really bringing that power back to you. It's telling you that you're in control of your life.
Yes.
How you see things, how you do things, it's all reflection on you, how you see yourself, right? So
Yeah.
it's instead of like going like everything's out of control, I can't control anything, you know, my love life, my career, like finances, like I can't control any of it. Instead of saying that and seeing it that way, now you're
Mm-hmm.
going, wait a minute, I can control this, because
Yes.
you're focusing more on your reaction to that instead of letting that happen to you.
Exactly. It's actually a great place to be in your life when you can
Yeah.
realize all of that and realize that you can change your life. You know, it's not in anyone else's hands but Jesus. But you have the power to live the way you want to live. It's all in you. Like I said, that's a great place to be.
Yeah, there is two parts, right? It's the first part is you believing that you have the power, and the second part is giving it to the universe, or you know,
Yes.
whatever words you want to replace with that, and saying like, I this is what I want, it's gonna happen. You
Yep.
just let me know how it's gonna happen. That's it.
Exactly.
It's two parts, yeah.
And I'm gonna do it. And there we go. That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's
I
very
love it. It
easy.
really is. It's easy to say, but it's really hard to do, which is why we have people like you to help us along.
That's true. That's why you have blocks too. That's why you get those limiting beliefs and stuff, because it goes deeper into it. Like, you know,
Yes,
when things happen, that's when you want to just shift it and keep going on your journey.
definitely, definitely. So, well, what? How can the listeners get in connection with you, contact you?
Yeah, so you can definitely head on over to my website at www.aniwey.com. So that's ANIWEY.com.
Hmm.
Or you can also check me out on Instagram at ANI_WEYS. And I'm also on TikTok as Product Business Babe. So those are the three ways you can definitely keep in contact with me.
That is great, and of course, I'll make sure all of that is in the show notes where people can just click on you and connect with you. And I definitely want to have you back on again so we can talk about more about manifestation and believing in yourself and all that good stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you, and we will talk again.